when I was in San Diego, I foolishly thought that because it was a Southern Californian city, because it was the 8th biggest city in the United States of America, yes, of course I read the Wikipedia article, I thought perhaps you could at least, I'm not saying you could get from the western edge to the eastern edge to the northern edge to the southern edge without a car, but I thought maybe you could get from a hotel to a restaurant, not the restaurant you want to get to, but any restaurant at all, without a car. And it turns out that that's not the case. When we landed in San Diego for for the 2 extra days that we were going to stick around, and we did stick around for that matter, we got to our hotel, and then we had to go to a UPS store, okay? We went to we looked up the UPS store. It was 1.6 miles away or something like that. To drive it, 11 minutes. Fairly reasonable. To walk it, 90 minutes. People are like, how slow do you walk? You don't understand. It's like in a car, it's like a straight line. As a pedestrian, you have to walk like on the only sidewalk that gets you like even moving in a similar direction. Then you like overshoot it. Then you get another sidewalk that like walks you back a little bit, and then there's only 3 roads that can eventually take you there, and also it's completely flat, and there's no shade, and there's no businesses on the side, and so like I did have that moment, and people in chat are, why would I pick this up? People in chat are seeing it like right now, or they're calling it, I should say. I finally understood why everyone's mad at me when I am like a little pro car. I forget that there are like extremely populous parts of the United States of America where you like literally need a car. Like it was not, we would be like, hey, we don't really want to leave the hotel tonight. Everybody's super tired, you know, like our baby's had a lot of, not a lot of stress, but like her routine's all messed up. And then we're like, okay, let's look at restaurants in our area. And it was like, well, there's a restaurant in the hotel, and if you don't want to eat there, well, you can rent a car. So that's what we did. We rented a car. We rented a Chevy Spark. It's a $13,000 compact sedan. I didn't even know, and I don't mean this to be insulting, I didn't know they made cars that cheap. Despite the car being $13,000, renting it was $65 US a day, plus $15 a day for the car seat so that our baby didn't experience like a horrific injury in the event that we were plowed into by one of the myriad like Ford F450s on the road that were offended by my mere existence. So it ended up being like, I don't know, $250 to rent this Chevy Spark for 3 days. It has 98 horsepower. We were paying like $3 a horsepower. Uber? Well, here's the thing. Uber apparently, and I don't necessarily blame Uber for this, but if you need a car seat, you can't do Uber unless you're in like New York or something. Uber has like a car seat option. I don't expect the Uber drivers to like take on the risk of making sure that their car seats are installed properly and the babies are like adequately restrained. It just seems like too much. So I'm like, that's just something you get when you have a kid. I can understand that. You got to get a travel car seat. Honestly, I'm learning a lot. I didn't even know that this stuff existed. I was like, there's no, I mean, now, honestly, I'm like rental car pilled. Once we got the rental car, I was like, we're driving everywhere. It was, I was actually like, this is, except for the $200 cost, this is mighty convenient. And except for the fact that every time I have to get on the highway, which by the way, apparently freaking San Diego is all highways. Who knew? You leave our hotel and it's like, get on Pacific Highway, get on I-5, get on Highway 1, get on like, just driving to like the corner store, you're hitting like 7 freeways. Every time I get on the highway, the Chevy Spark, listen, okay, when you're going up like an urban road, you're like, you feel downright European in this tiny car. You're like, oh, I'm having an Emily in Paris moment right now. When you get on the highway, no joke. You can see Kate's tweet if you want to fact check this, although you might not consider it an unbiased source. We get on the highway, right? I got my foot to the fucking floor trying to get the Chevy Spark to get up to highway speeds, which apparently are like, it's the Autobahn. So I go, the whole car's shaking. It's like 6 inches off the ground, so whenever there's like a pebble on the road, the whole car shakes like it's going over a speed bump. We merge onto the highway. 4 motorcyclists sharing a lane, driving side by side, are adjacent to us on the highway. And the whole time Kate's going like, oh my god, this is like, this car is so scary. This, like, this road is so scary. The motorcycle's right next to our window. And then the dude does like a 75-degree wheelie right next to our driver's side window. And he's like looking back at his friends, like, check out my sick wheelie. And we're like, this is, what the hell is going on in San Diego, man? Then he like sped ahead. And he took one hand off the handlebar and he was like hanging off the back of his motorcycle, holding his iPhone, like filming his friends riding the motorcycles. I was like, holy shit, dude, this is crazy. How'd you like San Diego? I thought it was okay, but honestly, everyone told us how chill people are in San Diego. And at least this is just based on driving. While I was driving, I was like, these fuckers would kill me in a heartbeat. Just because I'm driving a damn Chevy Spark, I'm getting no respect on the road here. I'm getting blitzed by people on like motorbikes and pickup trucks. Nobody's using their signal lights at all. People are going crazy, dude. Also, I mean, I'm just gonna say it because it's gonna give me a lot of props. I don't think I could live in a city where you have to drive. Maybe there's parts of San Diego where you don't have to drive, but like we absolutely 100% had to drive everywhere. And we were staying close to downtown. It's kind of crazy. And like nobody that I talked to thought it was weird at all. Like I went because we, you know, we have a baby. We were trying to figure out like, hey, how the heck are we supposed to? We're like, can you take a baby on the bus? They're like, oh, if you want to get around, you gotta get a car. Oh, I didn't realize. And then you got to get a car. You can't get a car at the airport. At the airport, you take a shuttle from the hotel to the airport. And then at the airport, you're like, hey, where's the rental cars? They're like, oh, you got to take a shuttle from where the shuttle dropped you off. That'll take you to a huge parking lot where there's like 10,000 cars. And then you're going to get in a car at the rental car. And then you're going to drive your rental car back to your hotel. And then you can use your rental car to drive anywhere you got to go. It's madness, man. I just did this at the San Diego airport last year. It was so easy to rent a car that it's like an indictment of the system. Like I was like, how am I supposed to return this? Where am I supposed to go? When I literally just drove it to the return lot and I was like, here's my car. And they're like, yeah, we know. Go ahead. You're free. Fuck you. Get out of here. You fucking poor ass Chevy Spark. 98 horsepower. Piece of shit, fucking kind of looks like it's supposed to be a 2-door, but they put one fucking half door on the back that you're like, that's not a real fucking door, but it is. Fucking, it's not a hatchback, but it's got like a pseudo trunk in it, and they're like, look, you can put a bag of groceries in this thing, no problem. Yeah, if you put it into sport mode, maybe. Fucking, how did the car seat fit back there? Because I was driving that shit like fucking this the whole time. I had my knees up like this on the highway, just so my baby could like have her legs comfortably in the back seat. Takes a bag like no problem. That's true. That shit like it easily hauled both of our backpacks without even putting up much of a fight. I don't think I could live. Like Kate and I were talking about it. It's just, and it's not a knock on the city. Like I'm sure there's. Okay, so what I was gonna say is I'm sure there's worse places to live, and like. That's doubtlessly true, but that's not what I mean. Like, San Diego seems nice, but, like, I don't think I could live there. I could, from what I saw in the 2-3 days we were there, I don't think I could live there. Food was great. Weather sucked, but I think that was, like, a unique feature of, like, the couple of days that we were there. When I'm in Seattle, I'm like, I could live in Seattle. When we went to Portland, I was like, I could make some adjustments and live in Portland. When we went to San Francisco, I was like, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between San Francisco and Vancouver. It felt like it was kind of like a lateral move in a positive way. In San Diego, I'm like, I can't live here. It's not just a Pacific Northwest thing. Because when we went to New York, I was like, listen, I don't want to deal with the winter, but I think like culturally speaking, I could handle New York. Then when we went to Boston, I was like, I hate this place. This is the worst. This is the worst major city I've been to. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think it's just like it's like a cultural thing. I wasn't vibing with the culture of New England, where everybody fucking tells you what they think at all times, as if I care who you are. I go to bat for New York, even though I've only been there like 3 times. But New York has like a rap for being impolite, which Vancouver gets as well. it is not impolite. I think it's impolite that you got in my way. Because I'm trying to do, like, my own shit, and then you're like, you don't know what you're doing, so you're walking like an asshole, and, you know, like, blocking people and taking photos of, like, post offices that are 2 stories tall and stuff like that, being like, oh, is this like a UNESCO World Heritage Site? And I'm like, listen, I'm trying to get to fucking, you know, I'm trying to think of a good brunch place. I'm trying to get to Jam Cafe, okay? Everyone chill. They're not impolite. It's impolite that you're imposing on my time.